Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Please download my latest ebook.
Good evening, everyone. This is Calvin Russell, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit Consultation. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Sorry, I'm actually doing video back to back to back. But either way, today I want to talk about the importance of gap coverage. Okay, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit in my ebook that I just made, and that is the step-by-step nationwide car buying guide. And with that guide, it goes over everything. And I go over it a little bit. I don't know. The ebook is about 8 pages worth of good, probably 9 pages of like really good content. And I'll put the link down at the bottom. But either way, I mentioned it, but I don't know if I'll just elaborate on it a little bit more in this video because a lot of people have no idea what gap coverage is. So first of all, let me break down what gap coverage is. The short end of it is that, let's say for example, that you buy a car, okay, and you get that car totaled, okay. The insurance company is only going to pay what they call the blue book value or whatever market value they normally go by. Every insurance company is a little bit different. Some go by Kelly Blue Book, some go by Black Book, some go by what they call the NADA, some go by what they're doing at the auction, all type of ways that you can see. Either way, these numbers aren't going to be that astronomically off. They're going to be pretty close. And that's where the insurance company comes in, okay? Because they insure the vehicle for what it's worth. They have nothing to do with what loan you took out. This is where gap comes in, because what happens is if you do not have gap, I repeat, if you do not have gap, but you have a loan on a car, you get the car totaled, and of course you owe more on the car than the car is worth. Now what's going to end up happening, the insurance company is going to pay, let's give numbers. Let's say for example that you have that you owe $15,000. You get into an accident, the car is totaled, it's worth $11,000. Okay, so now 15 minus 11, you have $4,000 left. Okay, that's called a gap. All right, so that's the easiest way to explain it. Without gap coverage, you're gonna owe your auto lender, whoever you took the loan out with, you're gonna owe them $4,000. You're like, why do I owe them $4,000? I don't have a car. Well, that has nothing to do with the situation that happened. That's exactly why they go over gap. Now, then you have, I always hear the story of people. And it's really unfortunate. When I worked at a dealership, people would call the dealership all the time and say, oh my God, I just got into a car accident. The car was totaled. I'm calling to see if I had gap coverage because I don't remember anybody going over it. Just so you guys know, the people in finance, they get paid to sell you this, which is nothing wrong with, okay? You know, the problem is that I know that I say that to say, I know they went over it. So most of the time they do. But all we hear is that, what am I pointing to? All that we hear is that our payment is going up, but it's going to be worth it. Your payment may go up an extra 12 to 13 bucks a month, honestly, if that, depending on how much you're financing, but no more than about $20 a month more. But I mean, more so closer to about $12, $13 a month more if you decide to get gap coverage. When people hear that their payment is increasing, they immediately say no to whatever, right? That's what ends up happening. But you need to have gap coverage. Now, there are some situations, and again, I don't get paid from Gap to talk about this, but I saw it so many times. Gap is one of those things where it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, okay? Or not even have access to it. And that's why it makes sense to get it up front and be done with it. Now, some people say, well, can I get Gap a little bit further down the line after I sign, after I sign the paperwork for the car? I think the rule is like maybe 24 to 48 hours after signing the final documents if they haven't submitted it already. And then of course, because now the depreciation factor is starting already, okay? So you want to make sure that you get gap at the beginning. Just finance it and just be done with it, okay? But I'm telling you, but you most definitely want to do it. So again, what is gap coverage? Gap pretty much covers the difference between what the insurance company is not going to cover and what you owe on the vehicle. That's the gap coverage, and it's going to cover that. And normal gap nationwide is usually around about 700 bucks. I know that's what it is in Illinois. It's about 700 bucks, and you can finance it. And long story short, is that once you add it on, to the you're not paying, like, it's already in there. It's like nothing that you have to pay extra. I don't believe that there's a deductible. Thankfully, I've never had to use gap coverage, but I do have it on my car that I have now, and my wife has a lease. So we, of course, and that's another thing. Most leases come with gap coverage, So, which I'll do a video on leasing. Leasing, oh my God. There's a couple percentages and things of that sort, and I know people are quick to, combat with me, or argue with me, of course, via comments if something's not right. So the leasing video is going to be really tedious, but I'll break it down in its simplest form because there's a lot of great benefits for leasing, but either way, I hope this video was helpful. So in short, you most definitely want to get the gap coverage. It's worth it. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. It just simply makes sense to do so. And, and again, it makes sense to have it because if you do not have it, you're going to be paying a car note on a car that you do not have or own at this point. Okay. Now there have been some situations where I had a client. I'm sorry, client, a customer. Well, actually, he is a client. So, but either way, he had it was in his car, and of course, got into a car accident. The car got totaled, and he did not have gap. Thankfully for him, he was only upside down about $3 grand, which a lot of people are starting to be upside down. That's negative equity, meaning that your car is worth less than what you owe because a lot of people are doing Lyft, they're doing Uber. I got a video on that, so make sure you check that video out. And but either way, because of that, he only had negative equity of $3,000. So we were able to put him into another vehicle that covered that $3,000. But for every $1,000 that you're financing, it usually affects your payment about $15 to $20 a month. So before he was even looking at a car, he was already at $45 to $60 a month more because again, he did not have that gap coverage. So again, but either way, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to share it, be sure to share it. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.